Episode 72. Yishu checked the material box in the equipment editor. There were still some rare materials he'd collected recently, but they weren't needed for the moment. He exited the materials box, confirmed the changes to the Myriad Manifestations umbrella, and once the progress bar finished, he quit the editor and returned to the game. With a flick of his wrist, he unfurled the umbrella to inspect the results of the new modifications. The Myriad Manifestations umbrella's base form remains unchanged at level 5. After this modification, however, both its sword and spear forms have been upgraded to level 15. The weight is unchanged at 2.3 kilograms, and the attack speed for both is 5. But their physical and magical attack stats are completely different from the level 15 spear form. In its sword form, the Myriad Manifestations umbrella has a physical attack of 240 and a magical attack of 265. In its spear form, the Myriad Manifestations umbrella has a physical attack of 238 and a magical attack of 210. Weapons from different categories, like spears, swords, and lances, naturally have different attributes. Even within the same class, weapons can have different areas of focus. Taking the sword class as an example, within the same weapon family, the highest physical attack belongs to the heavy sword category, with an attack speed rating of 1, making it the slowest. The highest magical attack belongs to the short sword category, with an attack speed rating of 5. The fastest attack speed belongs to the light sword category, with an attack speed rating of 9. Then there are two other types, the greatsword and the katana. The greatsword leans towards physical damage, though it's not as strong as the heavy sword, but its attack speed is slightly faster at 3. The katana leans towards magical damage, not as potent as the short sword, but similarly its attack speed is a bit quicker at 7. So, a swordsman class must choose their weapon based on their individual habits and needs. For example, the Spellblade and Ghostblade classes focus on magical attacks, so they'd rarely choose a greatsword as their weapon. Berserkers and Blademasters focus on physical attacks, so they wouldn't consider a short sword unless it had some special effect. The Light Sword series, however, is a special case. Only a Blademaster can wield this weapon. The in-game lore explains that only a Blademaster who pursues the absolute limits of the sword can master a weapon as swift as the lightsaber. Thanks to its speed advantage, the Light Sword stats are similar to a katana's, though its physical and magical attack power are both a bit lower. In its sword form, the Myriad Manifestations umbrella's stats lean towards the katana type. However, its shared attack speed of 5 is on par with a short sword's, putting it at a slight disadvantage compared to a katana of the same level. But looking at the Myriad Manifestations umbrella's spear form, its 290 physical attack power puts it squarely in the category of the war spear, the strongest physical attack weapon in the mage class, equivalent to the greatsword's status among swords. Originally, a war spear had the same attack speed as a heavy sword, 1, but now it shares a speed of 5. This means the spear form of the Myriad Manifestations umbrella is definitely a cut above a war spear of the same level. After verifying that the editor's evolution was correct across all forms, Yishu then opened Lord Grimm's skill list. At level 20, skill points get a one-time reset. Lord Grimm, as an unspecialized, could also enjoy this benefit. However, other classes get a chance to reset their skill points when they undergo their level 50 class awakening. The unspecialized class does not, so from this point on he'd have to be much more careful with how he spent his skill points. But Yishu's 10 years of glory experience were hailed as textbook, and he had every skill memorized down to his bones. Now, he just needed to finalize Lord Grimm's skill build. For an unspecialized character, every skill they could possibly learn was now laid out before them. Glory has 6 major classes, each with 4 advanced professions, making 24 in total. On average, each profession has about 5 skills available below level 20, which adds up to 120 skills. That's the number of skills an unspecialized character can learn, an absolutely impressive figure. But since they're all low-tier skills, their power naturally can't compare to the mid- or high-tier ultimate moves. But even these 120 low-tier skills require careful selection, as skill points are truly limited. While low-tier skills don't require many points, all under 30, some have multiple levels. This means you'll need to carefully consider how to mix and match them. Otherwise, even if you maxed out your skill points, you'd only have 5,000. It's simply impossible to learn all 120 skills to their maximum level. Yishu hadn't settled on a final plan yet. For now, he just learned all the skills he considered essential. As for adding more levels, he planned to wait until after some real combat testing. He was checking the skill list to see if he'd missed anything. The sudden scent of tea caught Yi Shu off guard. He looked up to see Tang Ru standing outside the front desk, holding a cup. Yi Shu was taken aback. This habit of his was a long-standing one. Back then, Su Mucheng would always brew him a cup of green tea whenever he stayed up late. Su Mucheng was a firm believer that anyone burning the midnight oil needed plenty of green tea. But now, Tang Ru was just holding the teacup and taking a sip. Yi Shu broke out in a cold sweat. He'd clearly gotten the wrong idea, thinking Tang Ru was bringing him tea like Su Mucheng would.
What are you up to?
Just checking out my skills.
Oh, I can learn skills too.
Sky Strike and Dragon Tooth.
Right.
Both skills are very useful, but which level you choose comes down to personal preference. Get familiar with both skills first.
Okay.
After Tang Ru left with her cup, the lingering scent of tea in the air left Ye Shu lost in thought for quite a while. Then he lit a cigarette in silence and went back to checking his skills. Blue River stared at Lord Grimm's name in his friends list, his heart tangled in a knot of unprecedented conflict. The battle with Blood Gunner had truly taken Blue River by surprise. Blue River's original intention in inviting Lord Grimm was simply to have everyone hang out and build some camaraderie. He hadn't even considered that Lord Grimm could be of any help in hunting down Blood Gunner. This is a full-scale guild war over a boss. What difference could one man possibly make? Lord Grimm's performance stunned everyone. He led a few people he probably didn't even know, took down the Blood Gunner, left the 3 major guilds in a complete mess, and even got the Herb Gardens guild leader Carriage Seed killed in action. Blue River had no idea what the other 2 guilds thought of Lord Grimm at that moment. As for him, his admiration for the man had only grown. He fully acknowledged that this person's skill was above his own. At least in that situation, Blue River knew he had absolutely no ability to take down the Blood Gunner, not even if he tried to exploit the conflict between the 3 major guilds like Lord Grimm did, especially later. While they were dealing with the Undead Legion, Lord Grimm's team had almost managed to bring the Blood Gunner down. Their damage output was even more efficient than our own elite teams. That was almost certainly thanks to Lord Grimm's command. But admiration aside, Blue River was also extremely pissed off. The loss was one thing, but the humiliation was another. After all, he was the one who had brought this guy over, only to end up with nothing to show for it. Blue River felt Lord Grimm's actions were rather inconsiderate, a real slap in the face. Blue River decided he needed to have a proper talk with Lord Grimm about this. He opened Lord Grimm's message window and typed out a line.
Buddy, what you pulled today wasn't exactly on the level, was it?